Good morning, I'm Will Reeve.
And I'm Janae Norman. Here are the top 5 things to know this Friday. Number 1, a new tragedy for the Kennedy family.
Robert F. Kennedy's 22-year-old granddaughter has been found dead at the Kennedy compound on Cape Cod. She reportedly died of an apparent overdose.
During high school, she wrote about struggling with depression and mental illness.
Number 2, North Korea has launched yet another round of missiles, the third weapons test in just over a week.
Officials in South Korea believe at least 2 short-range ballistic missiles were fired into the sea. The North has been frustrated over stalled nuclear talks and upcoming military drills between the U.S. and South Korea.
But President Trump is playing down the launches, saying they won't stop him from negotiating with Kim Jong-un.
On to number 3, a massive burn scar is left behind after a gas pipeline explosion in Kentucky.
One witness said it looked like an atomic bomb went off as flames climbed 300 feet into the air. One woman was killed. She was apparently overtaken by the heat after leaving her home.
At least 5 houses were destroyed. The cause of the explosion is under investigation.
Number 4, Ronald Reagan's daughter says there is no defense for her father's remarks in a 1971 phone call with Richard Nixon.
In the newly released recording, then Governor Reagan is heard describing African delegates to the UN as monkeys. His daughter, Patty Davis, wrote to the Washington Post expressing shock. She says racism was not tolerated in her family, and she believes her father would have asked for forgiveness.
Davis said, quote, legacies are complicated, and for people to be judged fairly, the landscape of a lifetime has to be looked at.
And finally, number 5, a jury has ordered Katy Perry and her co-writers to pay nearly $3 million for ripping off a Christian rapper.
The panel found that Perry and her collaborators lifted the beat from Marcus Gray's song Joyful Noise for her hit song Dark Horse. Perry is personally liable for $550,000 of that award.
Gray and his co-writers were seeking $20 million, but their lawyer says they're pleased.
They felt that they had been wronged, that something of value had been taken without their permission, and they wanted justice, and they feel that they've received justice.
Katy Perry's attorneys say they plan to fight the decision. We've got much more coming your way.
It's Morning America.
Good Friday morning.
Yeah, let's get to that big story, the trade war with China. President Trump threatening even more tariffs. Last night, he held his first campaign rally since that racist chant erupted among his supporters last month. He told the crowd in Cincinnati, until there's a deal with China, the U.S. will, quote, be taxing the hell out of them. ABC's Megan Tavrizian is here with more on what these tariffs could mean for consumers. Good morning, Megan.
Good morning. Well, these tariffs expected to start less than a month from now. They could affect how much you pay for your kids' toys, a new television set, or the price of a new cell phone.
The president touting his new trade policies at a rally in Cincinnati overnight.
We've taken the toughest ever action to stand up to China's trade abuse.
President Trump now slapping a new 10% tariff on $300 billion worth of Chinese products starting in September.
For the last 20 years, China's taken hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars out of our country, and now we're stopping the theft of American jobs.
But the tariffs mean American shoppers could see prices go up on everything from clothing to smartphones to TVs to toys. The Chamber of Commerce saying the president's move will inflict great pain on American businesses, farmers, workers, and consumers, and undermine an otherwise strong U.S. economy. News of the tariffs affecting Wall Street, too. The Dow plunged Thursday, closing down 280 points.
The goods that are now going to be targeted are ones that would affect ordinary consumers.
This latest development, part of a long-running and costly trade dispute with China, only days after both sides resumed negotiations. The president also mixing politics with his China trade policy.
They would love to see a guy like Sleepy Joe Biden, who has no clue what the hell he's doing.
And renewing his attacks on Democrats vying for his job and the 4 minority congresswomen he's targeted for weeks. But this time the crowd refrained from chanting, "Send her back."
China reacted overnight to President Trump's latest tariff announcement, saying it's, quote, definitely not the right way to resolve trade frictions. Will.
Thank you, Megan.
All right, and on Capitol Hill, the only black Republican in the House has announced he will not seek re-election. Congressman Will Hurd of Texas has clashed with President Trump over race and immigration. He's the 6th Republican member of Congress to announce their departure in less than 2 weeks.
Now to another story breaking overnight. Word that thousands of Americans could be heading home from Afghanistan. Up to 6,000 U.S. troops may be withdrawn, according to the Washington Post, as part of a peace proposal that the U.S. is negotiating with the Taliban. If the withdrawal happens, it would leave about 8,000 troops in Afghanistan. That's about the same number as when President Trump took office.
The top commander of the Navy SEALs is sending a blunt message. We have a problem. In a new letter, Rear Admiral Colin Green says a discipline problem among the SEALs must be addressed immediately. It follows several incidents in which SEAL teams were accused of sexual assault and using alcohol and drugs. In the meantime, another disturbing headline from the military. The Air Force says it will pause operations for one day to address a suicide crisis. 78 Air Force members have committed suicide this year. That's nearly 30 more than at this point last year.
A man from Texas has pleaded not guilty to charges he fought for ISIS in Syria. Omer Kuzu made his first court appearance yesterday in Dallas. Federal prosecutors say Kuzu and his brother joined ISIS 5 years ago. He was captured by the Syrian Democratic Forces earlier this year before being handed over to the FBI. If convicted, he faces up to 20 years in prison.
Well, now to the new tragedy for the Kennedy family. The granddaughter of Robert and Ethel Kennedy has been found dead at their family compound in Massachusetts, and overnight we learned new details about her medical emergency. Overnight tragedy striking the Kennedy family.
On the phone with the caller now, 21 Marchand in Hyannisport for a possible OD.
ABC station WCVB in Boston reporting the granddaughter of Robert F. Kennedy died of an apparent overdose at the historic family compound in Hyannisport.
Engine 6 on location. Bring that ambulance closer to the front door. 3 minutes. We're ready to come downstairs. We're just preparing for you.
The victim, Saoirse Kennedy Hill, the daughter of Courtney Kennedy Hill, the 5th of RFK's 11 children with his wife Ethel. First responders rushed to the compound Thursday after reports of an unattended death. The 22-year-old was taken to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. A young Saoirse is seen here in 2000 placing a white rose on JFK's gravesite during a memorial at Arlington National Cemetery.
Not just the family, but the whole nation has trouble with that. We can learn from it. It's hard to get help in this country.
In her high school newspaper 3 years ago, Saoirse described her struggles with depression, writing, "My depression took root in the beginning of my middle school years and will be with me for the rest of my life." This morning, her parents say their hearts are shattered, and her 91-year-old grandmother, Ethel Kennedy, released a separate statement saying, "The world is a little less beautiful today." Saoirse's death comes 50 years after Chappaquiddick, when the late Senator Ted Kennedy's car plunged off a bridge, killing his 28-year-old passenger, Mary Jo Kopechne.
So glad to see you all again, and welcome to Hyannisport.
For years, the Kennedy family used the 6-acre compound as their retreat. President John F. Kennedy famously vacationing there with his family, using it as a base for his 1960 presidential campaign, and later as a summer White House. Saoirse Kennedy Hill was a member of the Boston College class of 2020. Her family says she found great joy in volunteer work, especially when she helped to build schools in Mexico. Well, a blood test to detect possible signs of Alzheimer's is in the works. Researchers in Missouri say the test measures protein deposits in the brain that are a risk factor for the disease. Scientists say it identified those deposits faster than brain scans. They believe the procedure is up to 94% accurate, but say it will be years before it's widely available. A father and son in Maryland are being called heroes for fighting off a would-be robber at a 7-Eleven.
Paul Shad and his dad Jim were at the counter when a suspect came in, dropped his weapon, and then picked it up and announced a robbery. But Paul grabbed the gun, wrestled the guy outside. A struggle ensued. The suspect took off. Now Paul has a big shiner.
I would fight again. I have a daughter, I have a girlfriend, and all I could think about was, what if my family wasn't here right now, and I wasn't here and no one did anything.
His father helped find the suspect who was arrested. Police advise against taking on an armed gunman, but they say the gun didn't fire because it wasn't loaded correctly. Good thing.
Yeah, thank goodness. And Cape Cod's Long Nook Beach was shut down temporarily after a state police helicopter crew spotted some great white sharks. They were swimming close to shore. Marine mammal experts warn summertime is peak shark season out on the Cape. Although attacks on people are rare, they do recommend, though, that you don't venture past waist-deep water or swim with seals.
All right, so you can't really get under there.
No, you just tan on the beach, read your book, go in, get a little wet, get out.
There you go. You heard that? Read a book. Put your phone down,
Read a book
huh?
for once.
Read a book.
Why are you watching us? Read a book.
Coming up, a surprise encounter with a bear caught on camera.
And what one jogger did to survive. That's after this.
Welcome back now to a close call for a jogger who came face to face with a big bear. The woman's phone was recording as the animal charged at her.
But being a veteran of the outdoors, she knew exactly what to do.
Go on.
This morning, a dramatic close call with a bear.
No.
Sherry Moore was jogging on vacation in Canada when she stopped to take this selfie, and then,
as soon as I clicked it, a bear came down from the side of the mountain, looked at me, and started walking towards me.
Watch the dramatic moment as this bear first trots toward her and then charges.
No. And it full on charged me, came running up to me, and it stood up on its hind legs right in front of me. It started making these huffing noises, and it started making these crunchy noises with its teeth, and I thought, that's it, I'm done, I'm going to be mauled. I just remember the pure fear of I'm about to die.
She began to shout at the bear like a dog.
Just saying, no, get back, stop, get down.
Sherry continuing to yell and back away slowly, the bear deciding to retreat.
I ran as probably the fastest I've ever ran in my life.
And while some may have found this situation too much to bear, Sherry plans on hitting the trail again.
I need to get back out there or I'm going to let this run my life, and I can't do that.
Experts say Moore did everything right. She stayed calm somehow and walked away slowly.
My goodness. Well, let's get a check of our notifications. Starting with this, you guys, a joyride in a school that may cost some men in Michigan.
Police say the guys on this surveillance video broke into a high school. It's under construction, so the alarm wasn't on. Detectives say the trio may have been drinking, that's a quote, before hopping on a floor scrubber, riding it around the building. They smashed it into furniture. They stole some snacks, and they broke some musical instruments.
My goodness.
And next to a little boy's inspiration from an NFL star.
Cleveland Browns quarterback TJ Carey is about to start his 6th season with the NFL, but he took a break from practice to share a story of his risky open heart operation when he was just 14 years old, talking with a young fan dealing with his own serious heart issue.
Yeah, 10-year-old CJ DeJohn has undergone numerous heart surgeries already at a young age. He and TJ, the NFL player, showed off their scars. TJ telling CJ to never let his condition hold him back.
Good message there.
Yeah, of course. And, Janae, usually being named for an item on a Taco Bell menu, not ideal. Wouldn't be considered too cute.
I don't know that I agree. Unless,
all right,
of course.
We'll just be apart on this issue.
But if you have faces like this, look at little Doritos Loco Quesarito. They're part of a litter of puppies for adoption in Oklahoma City. Their mom was saved from a shelter kill list. Her foster humans named her Taco Bell with an E on the end of Bell. But her puppies have been given menu names as well, such as Cinnamon Twist, Crunch Wrap Supreme, Gordita right there.
Okay, you know
what? Adorable, right?
I can admit I was wrong.
I mean, see, there you go. And from cute dogs to hot dogs and ice cream, we have the ultimate summer treat for you, hot dog ice cream.
Ultimate is a stretch, but Oscar Mayer, they're into it. They're out with a hot dog ice cream sandwich. A blogger called it both real and terrifying.
Oh my gosh, and that's how it looks to me. It's made with bits of hot dog that have been candied. There's spicy Dijon gelato. Come on.
I am all set, but you guys enjoy.
Tell me what it tastes like.
I don't even want to know.
Yeah, me either.
Next, though, are millennials killing the razor industry?
Not this guy.
Nope. Clean shaven. I have no choice. I can't grow facial hair. But this week, Procter & Gamble reported a sales slowdown at Gillette. In fact, the market for men's shaving products has decreased by more than 10% the last 5 years. Everyone's growing beards.
Yep.
But there's also competition from subscription services like Dollar Shave Club that hurts the traditional market.
No shave November all year long.
Exactly, yeah. And finally, imagine waking up, trying to leave for work in the morning, and you see this.
This. Dozens of elk invaded this neighborhood along the Oregon coast, hanging out in front of that house before clacking their hooves down the street. There are so many of them.
How many? Like, we could do a count. They've been seen El Cav in this town, not in such big numbers, and I would assume not in such a residential area.
Right? Nuts.
But what do I know about El Cav?
Okay, so also nuts, guacamole fans. You know the struggle. You have to pay extra for the good stuff on your burrito, but it's okay because you want the guac. Now there's another challenge, phony guacamole.
What?
I know. I know. It's the result
Please go
of
on.
rising price of avocados. Authorities are looking to squash this problem as fast as they can. Jade Hernandez of KABC in Los Angeles has that story.
El Tepeyac Cafe has been in this location for more than 60 years. For Carlos Thome, who's called this place his work home for 11 of those years, the price of avocados has been a battle he's waged for a while.
I would say 3 months, it's like it showed a big change where, I mean, in May we were at $30 for a case of avocado, till now we're at $65, $70 for a case.
Nowhere is that more true than just for the average shopper. Inside Vallarta Market today, the price of 2 large avocados cost pennies, under $6. Last month, the average price of an avocado was $2.18. Last year at the same time, the average was only $1.26. That's an increase of 72%, creating a very large avocado here. But in real life, it means it's just hard to pay to keep avocados in-house.
We're known for big, humongous portions and serving lots of guacamole. We just kind of, bite the bullet on it because we try to keep our customers happy. And in previous years, I mean, they've gone up to $110 around this time, $110 per case.
That's not good for business. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, says this year's avocado yield is much, much lower than normal due to a heat wave in the state last July. Plus, between that time and this month, the state's experienced the second hottest year in its history. So this man, Javier Cabral, says this is all leading to something called faux guacamole.
You make this fake one using a summer squash that looks almost like a zucchini. And I've had some people say that it also works with the zucchini. And you blend them and you get it to that texture that is a taqueria guacamole. It's pretty eerily similar in texture.
Carlos has tried it.
If we don't like the taste, we're not going to give anything to the customers.
All right, guys, and that's our question of the day. Do you think you could tell the difference between the real deal avocado guacamole and this squash concoction? And would you just go ahead and pay more, even more, for the real deal?
I assume so,
right?
Don't they say millennials are going broke because of avocado toast?
Yes.
Isn't
Hello.
that so?
I'd know the difference. Tell us what you think in the comments or tweet us at ABC News Live. Coming up, the one show that has country superstars coming back again and again and again.
We're going behind the scenes of CMA Fest after this.
Here's what to watch out for today. President Trump scheduled to make an announcement on trade with the European Union at the White House before traveling to his golf club in New Jersey for the weekend. Singer R. Kelly is due in a New York court today to be arraigned on sexual abuse charges. Court documents show Kelly is charged with exploiting 5 anonymous victims and arranged for some of the victims to meet him on the road for illegal sex. The defense claims the alleged victims sought out Robert's attention, even fought each other for it, and voluntarily contacted him.
Embattled Puerto Rican Governor Ricardo Rosselló is set to step down today, but it's still not clear who will replace him. The governor was forced to resign after weeks of protests triggered by an offensive group chat that was leaked. Puerto Rico's House of Representatives, they're scheduled to vote today on the man Rosselló tapped to be his successor. If he's not confirmed, the Justice Secretary would be next in line, but she's already said she does not want the job. And finally, don't miss Mr. Worldwide himself, the one and only Pitbull, live in Central Park. It's GMA's summer concert series this morning at 9 a.m. right here on ABC News Live.
Mr. 305, Mr. Worldwide.
Dale.
Plus, don't forget to tune into the debrief for an update on all our top stories and the briefing room for a breakdown of the latest headlines in politics.
And we're hitching up our horses and riding down the Old Town Road to one of the hottest music events of the summer.
CMA Fest is country music's ultimate fan experience. Maggie Rulli got a behind-the-scenes exclusive peek, catching up with some of country's hottest stars.
It's the one show every country superstar returns to again and again.
CMA Fest is unlike any other Like no other genre of music has this. The stadium crowd at CMA Fest is absolutely insane. Everybody just shows up wanting to have a great time.
This is the one gig you can't miss. If you're a fan of country music and you come here this weekend, it's like Disneyland.
The annual CMA Fest, thousands of fans, 4 days of music, and nearly a dozen country legends.
Really?
You are. Everyone was very excited.
But legend, does that mean like you're done? 91, 92. When I first put my first single out, nobody asked for my autograph. And I ended up cleaning up and tearing down the booth. So to see where CMA Fest has become is pretty special to me.
It's only here at CMA Fest where we could see a moment like this.
Ride till I can't no more. Take my horse to the old town road.
This was a magic moment. This song is just, it's been such a fun ride. It's the funnest thing I've ever got to be a part of.
100%.
What is it about Old Town Road?
What is it about Old Town Road? Old Town Road somehow manages to hit every demographic, and they love it. And it's like magic somehow.
Yeah. So you're learning from Lil Nas X.
I really am.
What did you learn tonight?
Well, what I learned tonight with Keith Urban joining us in this magic moment, and the fans being what this week is really all about. And I've seen it since it was fanfare.
Yeah, it was crazy. I love the song so much.
This weekend, bringing people together.
It's my first time back on the stage with my band, and I feel like it creates a fire and an energy that elevates the performance.
I want you all myself.
The epic party taking over Nashville.
It's just amazing to be able to see all of your favorite artists kind of in one spot.
You hop on the Music City Rollin' Jamboree bus with some surprise sing-along guides. Runaway June.
And at the end of the night, when they turn on all the lights, I can call my own cab.
Every year, we're all coming back.
Maggie Bruley, ABC News, New York.
Looks like a ton of fun.
That does. No one has more fun than Lil Nas X, though.
Right? There you go.
That guy's killing it.
Facts.
Good for him.
That's it for us this week. Have a good weekend.
We'll see you.